Letters containing hateful messages targeting African American and Jewish community members were first found laying in the streets of Moundsville this past weekend. But now residents in communities up and down the northern panhandle say they have fallen victim to the hateful speech. We have made an editorial decision to not share the messages inside the clear plastic bags in order to not aid in spreading the group's message. He says residents in his community are encouraged to turn in the packets filled with birdseed and hateful speech to police.
We urge the people, as soon as they find them, turn them in to us, and what we will do is naturally we'll investigate.
Amy Whipke said her daughter and her husband found the bags laying outside of their home on Main Street in Follansbee.
Looks like the KKK is trying to come to Follansbee.
Whipke, who has biracial family members, says she is scared for her family, especially with these messages being delivered on such a heavily traveled roadway.
Follansbee Police Chief Larry Ray says police officers have been busy today collecting dozens of the bags that popped up in the community.
And as authorities try to prevent another future mass shooting, a lot of people are wondering what can be done about hateful posts on the internet.
Yeah, the president has called on law enforcement and media companies to do more police internet hate speech searches.
Data scientist Reese Leahy studies online hate speech, in particular how it spreads. She compares controlling it to breaking a piece of glass.
The big pieces, when you're picking it up, those are like the big platforms. They're easy to work with. The ones that are problematic are the little shards that you might step on later.
On Monday, the president called on social media companies and law enforcement to crack down on internet hate speech. Leahy says immediately after the shooting, online posters were already looking ahead.
In the same 8chan thread where the shooter posted his manifesto, someone asked, so when this place gets shut down, where are we all going next?
The paint is barely dry on the Calgary Pride crosswalk.
2019, I think it's time to move forward and not backwards, and definitely grow from what we used to know and now go into, like, you know, it's more accepting. We're a country that's very diverse.
As you can see, the violent words are now gone, replaced with messages of support saying you are loved and you matter. The people I spoke with believe this is what truly represents Calgary. At the same time, the Hate Crimes Unit continues to look into the first act of vandalism that happened on Wednesday.
At 12, Beatrice Medline knows she wants to go pro, and she knows what she wants to be paid.
Definitely, same as the guys, hopefully more, but at least the same as the men, because I want to be, they're equal or better.
2015, 2016 is kind of the peak of organic Tumblr growth. The community was really big, it was really vibrant, and it was traveling around the internet. It was like sort of leading the conversation.
Well, Jonathan, this is the type of ball they've been using over in Wyndham for games like dodgeball. Nerf balls like this for the most part, but from now on, they will no longer be thrown.
Dodgeball banned because it's pretty fun, but if it gets too aggressive, like, something's got to change about that.
They're all my friends. We're all from New York. We all don't fuck with racism, and we're gonna go skate some Confederate monuments in a form of protest to end racism.
I'm a lifelong Manassas resident. Yeah, I'm a reporter. And yeah, I'm a trans woman too. And when the negative ads started coming out, attacking transgender kids, when those came out, we stayed on our message of 28 while decrying discrimination. Just this election has to prove nationwide that discrimination is a disqualifier.
I'm definitely going to be looking forward to hearing from Kamala Harris. I remember in the NBC debates, I mean, there's a variety of candidates. I can't name them all right now, but I would definitely say.
I hear you. I hear you on that one. The third volume of Dear White People is finally on Netflix. That's what we're dedicated to on this show. You know, activism is our art through this. And I would say, have an increased awareness of what's going on around me.
I feel emboldened by it because it's like I know that the work that we're doing is so important.
I'm Jasmine Bean and I'm into post-human, creepy and Japanese fashion. A lot of people feel like people that dress like this are wasting their body, but I feel that I'm wasting my body by not doing this.
1 year on, Greta is no longer alone. She's inspired a new generation of climate activists with the message, we have to act now or it'll be too late.
She's fighting for our future, so we might as well fight as well.
Like Greta, young people are leading climate strikes in the U.S. and across the world. Now she's about to set sail on a solar-powered boat. bringing her message to a UN summit in New York.
So I would love to see some firm policy proposals that include trans people and non-binary people. We haven't even talked about that yet.
And we connected the dots between our own, what we've learned in our own history and what is happening right now that we're bearing witness to.
To have diverse characters, to have LGBTQ diverse characters on the show is really important because it puts them right into the living room of people all over.
Using YouTube, for example, to talk about, the diversity is a myth, or to talk about how diversity is code for anti-white genocide or something like that. You see these same types of terms being used, but they're also being used on websites where some people might start reading this and think like, oh, well, this sounds agreeable. You don't get quite to the ethnic cleansing right away.
In, 70, 80 years, there will be no white people anymore, and only cappuccino-colored people.
Look, that's the only way. This is the only solution. It's my way of thinking. It's our only hope.
Drag Syndrome is a collective of artists with Down syndrome who are drag queens, and we have a drag king as well.
Most of all, Michael likes to twerk. Now, does anybody in this room know how to twerk? All right, well, it's quite important to the story, so I will just give you a very quick demonstration. All you need to do is you just stand with your feet sort of shoulder width apart, like so. Okay, and I'll show you at the side so you get a better view that way. And you crouch down into this sort of position here, so your bum's sticking out. I hope you're taking this all in. And then you just move your bum up and down like that, and that's twerking.
The reaction when people hear that we have 2 trans kids is pretty shock and awe.
Anyone can be whoever they want, and it doesn't matter what your opinion is.
Being trans isn't like weird, and it just means that you are biologically the opposite gender, a different gender than you are.
No one gets to design their but now you can, and so why not?
When you're a fan and you read the Porno Boot Camp synopsis, it's very intimidating.
Not only women experience periods, trans guys can experience periods, and non-binary people can as well.
Why people go, well, why don't we have straight month? Because every day is straight month, straight day, Pride Day. Why don't we have White History Month? Because that's what we've been taught. That's what we live. That's what it is.
Myth number 1, demisexuality is just a made-up sexuality for people who want attention. This is super untrue because I sure get a lot of negative attention online for being demisexual that I would not choose for myself. I speak to people on the internet all the time who came across the term demisexuality and felt so validated.
So I think what we're finding ourselves in at the moment is an epidemic of violence against trans people. We say, here's this person outside, and they've chosen to look like a freak. So the world will treat them like a freak, and that's okay.
There's so many layers within the LGBTQIA community, to being a black drag queen, to being a black drag queen who's plus size, to being a black drag queen who's bearded, to being a black drag queen who's plus size.
I'm Adam All, and I'm a drag king. Drag for me is about gender politics. It's a socio-political art form.
And we're going to be discussing whether Killing Eve is queerbaiting. I think that we've had 2 whole seasons where we've seen a lot of queer narrative and a lot of queer moments and a lot of, recognizable queer things coming out.
And today we're talking about touching ourselves. Masturbation.
Because it is never too young to start upholding the American ideal of femininity.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Is Alaska too? Hi! How about you, Sydney? Who's that?
My name's Lil Pound Cake, and I'm a straight-up motherfucking dick pig. The official Lil Pound Cake doll.
Her catchphrase is, "You're not my real dad, and you never will be."
My bag, roaches in my suitcase, roaches in my hair, dick pig riding like pound cake. Glitter on my dick.
Hold up, bring it back. Can your girl get on Snap or something? Post it on your Instagram, hashtag a snack or something.